Right, welcome to tonight's host, Keith Hill, joining us in the hot seat. Just a quick reminder before we start, just thank you to our sponsors, which is PH Jet Wash, Ubeak, and Akin Sportswear. I'm going to throw them then. Yeah, right. Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Yeah.
It took a while to get you on, but you finally
Yeah,
sat in the hot
to
seat.
be honest, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But it's great to have you on, Keith. So brilliant.
Shall we start? So what we like doing is just asking. Obviously, we do it covers grassroots and things like that. We're trying to be a little bit different. Is where did it start from? Where was the love for the football? Where did it start from? Where did you get that itch for it? I know it's.
I think it's similar to most lads, to be honest. You're just basically following your dad around. You're picking up habits. My dad was really into his football. So from a young age, wherever he went, I wanted to go with him. And so he played regularly on a Saturday and a Sunday. And in between a Saturday and Sunday playing football was what a pub life as well.
Yeah.
So you're getting used to that sort of like atmosphere, but I always had a ball at my feet. My dad was really, really into his football, massively. We lived on Wilmot Street, just off Adrian's Road, at the top of Halliwell. Just spent a load of time on the streets playing football with my mates. And then when you obviously go to school, I got picked for the school team, then the town team. And then you get that sort of like feeling that, you know, you're quite good at it, or you could be good at it. And I wouldn't say it ever got serious for me, because it's a little bit different when I was being brought up, because there was no real academies. Obviously there was professional football clubs. There was always scouts, rumours of scouts watching, town team games, school games, because the school was in control of your career then.
Yeah.
Or your footballing, I suppose, itinerary. So the school always came first, which I thought was brilliant. He played for the town team. He represented the county, and if he was good enough, he represented England. But loved football, loved playing with my mates all the way through. Was never ever really coached, which I think helps. I think you can be overcoached in modern day football.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I just loved the game. I got to a point where I think I was in around 14, and I was playing 4 times at the weekend. I was playing Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, and then my Sunday afternoon was here at Orwich RMI.
Oh, was it down
Yeah,
here?
I remember.
Yeah, so I used to camp down here.
Probably played under John then.
I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember with me being 56 now, but 4 games of a weekend, and it was just absolutely superb. And I've never lost that love for football, and I've seen so many players who I played with, apprentices. When it becomes a bit serious, that's it. It kills them. The love for the game. You can see it disappearing from the face, or they don't really want to play it. And I've seen it with so many kids. You know, fall out of love with football. The pressure, parental pressure, coach pressure, and it becomes a game that's not. You know, you don't play it for the love anymore. But honestly, I'm still in love with the game of football.
It's good that.
Coaching kids as well. I think it's.
So who was, like, when you said you played your 4 times, can you remember the teams you went?
I played for Moss Bank, obviously.
Wow.
I played for the Wisedale. I played for the school team, or it was either school team. I definitely played for the town team, because we always trained at Bolton School. Blackburn, if I was lucky enough to be given permission to play for Blackburn, because I had to ask permission from Cannon Slade School to be able to play for Blackburn. And, you know, we were lucky we trained once a week with Blackburn instead of the 4 times that you get now. We trained all over the place, to be honest. We trained at Littleton Road.
Oh, yeah.
With Blackburn. But to be honest, you know, I just enjoyed playing football, and that's what really developed me. No coach developed me with respect to. I had some great coaches with respect to, you know, youth team managers, or, you know, grassroots football managers who were brilliant at instilling, you know, what was necessary, but they give you the opportunity to love the game and play the game. But no real coaching. The game itself taught me, and the opposition, which I still believe can be your biggest influence, the opposition.
So when you started playing football, who was your first team you signed for?
Professionally.
Yeah, where did you
Blackburn?
did you come
Yeah,
from
Blackburn,
then?
yeah. I got the opportunity, to be honest, to sort of represent Bolton. All my mates from the town team, and it was a brilliant town team. You know, you had like Ian Molyneux, we had...
Oh, Muller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Muller.
You know, we had Adam Senior, myself, you know, there was other players. The goalkeeper, I forgot his name now. Keith. Oh, jeez, I forgot his name.
Brannigan.
No, he ended up at Rochdale, Bristol City.
Oh, right, okay.
But we had a town team which was full of like what you would consider rising superstars. Majority of them signed for Bolton. But my dad gave me advice. I'd gone to Blackburn while training with Bolton's, you know, next generation, if you like. And I really enjoyed it at Blackburn. We ended up playing a trial match. We beat Blackpool 3-1 over at Old Langall, and I really enjoyed it. My dad said, listen, you know, like, this is a decision you've got to make, which isn't about your mates, it's about you and what's best for you. And I signed for Blackburn, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. I got offered me an apprenticeship deal when we just played a youth team game over at Boundary Park for Blackburn against Rochdale. And I came out like, and I remember like telling my mum and dad, it was just so emotional. Like, you know, I've been given the opportunity to get an apprenticeship at Blackburn Rovers, and wow, it was a moment to savour.
Under like that YTS scheme?
Yeah, YTS, yeah. So it was like a 1 year, then you got like either an extended, you know, apprenticeship, or you got like a pro.
Who was the manager then when you went?
It was Bob Saxton.
Okay.
And then it was Don Mackay, and then Kenny Dalglish, which, you know, evolved into, you know, the club becoming a big club, winning the Premier League. But I've got to say, Jim Fidel, my youth team coach, he was amazing. Tony Parks, who was the first team coach there, incredible. But Bob Saxton, he was a real tough first team manager. And we had a squad of players at Blackburn who, wow, they were ruthless on the training pitch. Every day on the training pitch, there was a fight. You know, it was incredible. When you look back, it was incredible, honestly. I was so competitive. And Bob Saxton was a manager and I was an apprentice, and I was lucky enough within the first year I was invited to train with the first team on a regular basis. But Bob would never speak to me. Never ever speak to me. You know, I don't know whether it was sort of like, you know, his way of like testing you. But I really enjoyed training with the first team. And we played a youth team match over at Squires Gate against Blackpool, and he came watching because he took a big interest in the youth team. And halfway through the game, their centre forward, as I stooped down to head it, he hit me right in the nose. My nose ended up on this side of my face, and it was like a full 6 studs right in my face. My mum's crying on the touchline. They wouldn't show me a mirror. Bob Saxton comes running over. I turns around and tries to look at him. He's laughing his head off. He's laughing his head off. Honestly, I swear to God, laughing his head off as I'm walking off the pitch. He patted me on the back, nearly knocked me over. He said, "You're a centre half now, son." And that was it.
Do you know, just going to that, I'm just going to ask, like, when you play for school and you were doing like 4-day town team, was you always play centre back? Did you always play there? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you always just from the word get go? Did you just go centre half and stuff like that?
I was chose to be a defender. I never played another position in my life.
Is it this? Because I play centre half, and it was just like, you're tall. Like, all my mates were like, "This is, can you go and play centre back? Can you go and have a go up front?"
The irony is about it all is, like, I represented Bolton as a coach in the academy. We went to Italy in I think it was an under 11s tournament, right? And when we was in Italy, the Italy system, the way that they do things is, they choose you for your position. Well, you're going to be a centre half. It doesn't matter how tall you're going to be.
Happened to me.
You know, it doesn't matter like whether you're going to be 6'4" or 5'11". So they just choose you. And it was like, I was watching Juventus play against Ajax in the final, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is unbelievable. Juventus had the smallest central defender
Look at
you could
Maldini.
imagine. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so who's right and who's wrong?
Yeah.
You know, like there's a big emphasis on physicality now, but you know, I think first and foremost you've got to like find a player. You know, but like I said, I had an unbelievable upbringing. You know, and the game itself taught me a lot about football, but there was certainly big influences on it, and Bob Saxton was a massive one.
So you've gone to Blackburn. Did you sign the full contract there then, or?
Yeah, I ended up making my debut as an 18. I've been training with the first team. I've been taking with a few first team squads to away matches, and then the next season, by coincidence, we were playing Liverpool on a Tuesday night, and that morning we'd gone into train, which was unusual.
Yeah.
And we were going through set plays, and Colin Hendry, while going for a header at the near post, got a kick in the eye, a loose boot.
So did you play side of him?
Yeah, I played alongside him, but later on. So because of that, his eye didn't. The swelling hadn't gone down before kick-off, so I got the late call. I got a call in the afternoon to the house phone in the digs that I was staying, saying you're going to be playing tonight against Liverpool, and it was Kenny Dalglish's Liverpool. So I was playing instead of Colin Hendry on the left side of defence, and we were playing against John Aldridge.
Rushy.
No, I don't think he was there then.
You're not there,
No,
right?
John Aldridge.
Barnes.
Aldridge, Beardsley, and Paul Walsh came on in the second half. You know,
Big names.
it was unbelievable. And Kenny Dalglish is Kenny Dalglish is in the dugout. We drew one each.
Wow.
I didn't get to play in the second leg because, rightly so, I come in and I had to go back out because, you know, I wasn't right. I wasn't ready to play sustained first team football.
Was that at Ewood or was that down at Anfield?
Yeah, it was at Ewood. I went to
Park?
the away fixture, but you know, just a part of the squad because, you know, like Colin was back fit, and I think we got beat that night.
Big crowd of Liverpool down there at Ewood Park. Bit daunting, or?
Listen, at Ewood Park, I just took it in my stride. Terry Gannon was in goal, and you know, it's not that you're a cocky kid. You're confident.
So who's in your team there then? Obviously with you then, so obviously you did Colin Emery. Who else was?
Was Shearer there then?
He came a bit later on. He came like the season I was leaving. I left. Shearer came, but it was like the David Mayles, and we had like the Mark Atkins, and we had the Simon Garners, and we had the Scott Sellers. Scott Sellers. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
unreal.
what a player. I mean, I know he played for Bolton, but you know, his left foot and the way he could swivel.
He can move.
Oh, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Good side though then.
We had a good side, there's no question about it. And we had to be good. We got into the playoffs, I think, 3 out of 4 times, and the time that we didn't was we were fighting relegation, but the next season we got promoted to the Premier League.
So that was good. That's really good. So how many games did you play at Blackburn? How many?
Just over 100, I think, all in, like. Yeah, I represented him as captain, to be honest. And again, I've got to thank Don Mackay and probably Colin Hendry a little bit because Colin Hendry, I think, had put a transfer request in to leave because he'd done brilliant for Blackburn, and we just hadn't quite made it to the League One or the Premier League as they call it now. And I think he put a transfer request in, and Nicky Reid, who was the captain, had been out injured pre-season, so we come to the first game of the season, and I think Don Mackay wanted to make a little bit of a point, like, and he made me captain, and I was captain for the first 4 or 6 games of the season.
That's really good.
So yeah, and then obviously Nicky was back fit, he came back into the side, but that was my breakthrough season really, where I played like over 30 games that season, and really enjoyed it. We went to Leeds. We drew 1 each at Leeds. We beat Oldham at home. Leicester away, we beat them 1-0 with Frank Stapleton up front.
Wow.
So there's some really like
good ballers there.
Unbelievable. I think some of the best players. And again, like it's difficult to judge because some of the best players you consider to who you played with, but by name, like, you know, Osvaldo Ardiles, you know, Steve Archibald. They came on loan from Tottenham to Blackburn. You know, you've got your Alan Shearers, you've got your Tim
Fox.
Sherwoods, etc.,
Your
etc.
Batties as well in there. So.
I didn't play with
Did
Batty
you not play
like
with
I
Batty?
no,
Did
but
did you leave before Flowers arrived?
yeah, we had Bobby Mims and the likes of Terry Geno, like who were brilliant for me. Like I said, I couldn't have asked for a better you know, place to you know, start your football journey. And unfortunately, you know, once the big money started rolling into Blackburn, and there was a total different shift to recruitment. And you know, I could have stayed, but I wanted to go and play. I still saw it as a game that I wanted to enjoy, and I didn't enjoy being a substitute or sitting in the stand. I just wanted to play. It was like, you know, my journey was not about like earning money. It was more about like playing the games. I wanted to play the games.
Play football.
I wanted to play. I just saw it as an extension of something I was doing when I was 13, 14, 15. I loved the game of football. I wanted to play. So I ended up going to Plymouth with Peter Shilton.
Nice.
Wow, was he what he was manager at the
Yeah,
time,
manager,
Shilton?
yeah.
So moved to Plymouth. Who did you play with there? Who big players were in there?
Jock Morrison?
No,
we not know him.
no.
Andy Morrison played for City, Blackpool, I think. There was Wayne Burnett, good friend of mine, Kevin Nugent. Just really good players. Steve Castle. We had a really good squad of players. Craig Skinner was at Blackburn with me, and he was down at Plymouth at the time. But I think Wayne played for Bolton.
Yeah,
Wayne Burnett, I'm sure he did, yeah. But no, it was a good squad of players. Peter Shilton was the manager. John McGovern, again, I think he's managed Bolton.
Yeah.
You know, he was the assistant manager. And they were good to work for. There's no question about that.
It's a big move in it though, from especially travel-wise from Blackburn over. You went over to Plymouth.
Yeah, listen, it was harder for the wife and the kids.
I could imagine. Yeah.
Because I just saw it again from a footballing perspective, an unbelievable opportunity to play football and socialise. Most football players, or most squad of players, teams that I've been successful with, they're very successful and collectively together off the pitch socially as well.
Yeah.
That was the way it was, and we had a great social squad of players, and it must have been very hard for the wife and the kids.
I can imagine it's not like it's 10 minutes down the road, is it?
No, it was a 4.5 hour journey,
Yeah.
which is now a 6 hour journey, you know, because there's a lot more restrictions than when there was when we were driving.
Wow, that's like full 24 hours, isn't it? You know, if you're setting
Oh,
up
it's
what
bad.
time in the morning, you've got to put all. I bet you're shattered that you're doing all that, and then.
Well, we didn't do it really. We moved down there, so I had 4 years living in Plymouth.
Oh,
Right,
nice.
then.
Different life, innit?
Is that what you did? About three seasons, 4 seasons.
Did 4 seasons, yeah. We ended up with Neil Warnock
Wow.
as a manager. In my last season, there was about 6 of us left over from the Peter Shilton era, and you know, we weren't really his cup of tea. But we did get promoted that season, and I left and ended up at Rochdale.
So what were you like playing under Warnock then? What was he like?
Crazy.
Was
I mean,
it?
listen, I got on as well as I could, being an outsider, basically. You know, and again, most managers will recruit players. They believe in, they trust, they know. And Neil Warnock, he's been so successful because he recruits players that he knows he can trust and he knows can do the job that he wants them to do. You know, I didn't fit into his mould of a player, but I could see why he was successful. I could see, you know, the way that he wanted to do things, his plan, the way that it was played. It was too direct for me. He had me on the pitch practicing kicking the ball into Rose Head. You know, that was one of his tactics for me as a central
Big
defender.
centre half.
You know,
Kick
kick the ball in the stand, basically. So I had an hour on the pitch kicking the ball into the stand, left and right footed, you know, down either channels. But listen, Neil Warnock was absolutely superb, and I understand why he's had so much success with player development, and he has developed a lot of players and individual success. I think he's got the most promotions from the Championship to the Premier League.
His
record's very
He's
good.
brilliant.
He's
He's
up
absolutely
there.
superb.
He's up there with like big hitters, isn't he?
I think there's him and Steve Bruce, and Steve Bruce has done well.
Yeah, they're up there on the same category. See, but he always used to bring Paddy Kenny with him, didn't he? He likes Paddy Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he followed him.
He's funny, Paddy Kenny. If you live next door, Paddy's next door.
That's Neil brought players with him wherever, and his staff as well, because his staff have to look after, you know, what he wants, because he doesn't spend too much time anymore, or he didn't do on the training pitch. you know, he allows other coaches to deliver and enforce what he wants. Like, but you know, as a man manager, brilliant. If he's one of your, if you're one of his players, absolutely super.
He looks after you.
Yeah, definitely.
He looks like one of them guys. He looks like the dad of the group.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
definitely.
When you see him on his interviews, or you see him on you know, when it's on a Gillette and his own, you laugh. What a guy! Like, imagine being a player like for yourself playing on that. That's something though, isn't it? A big honour that playing on Neil Warnock. He's a big manager.
He is.
Well known. An honour. Yeah, so that's really good. So you did 4 seasons at Plymouth. Where did you go after Plymouth?
Rochdale.
Oh, so you moved straight over to Rochdale.
Yeah, I come back. You know, we wanted to get back up north. Like I said, towards the end of the season, we got promoted. I ended up not playing. He brought a lad called Chris Curran in from Torquay during the January transfer window, and that was it. Me, basically, I was like, you know, taken out of the side. But we got promoted, and I ended up, you know, during the course of that summer, really wanted to get closer to home. I could have followed John McGovern, because John McGovern and Archie Gemmell got the job at Rotherham. But I didn't fancy going there, so I ended up with Graham Barrow at Rochdale.
Nice, you enjoy it.
Forgettable. To be honest with you, it's nothing to do with Graham Barrow or anything like that. I'd started not really enjoying the inner workings and of the football sort of like industry. You know, I'd sort of not fallen out with a love of the game, but you know, it had become. I'd almost had to use football to earn a living instead of really enjoying it. Yeah, so you know, I ended up signing for Rochdale. Played quite a number of games at Rochdale under Graham Barrow and then Steve Parkin. Really enjoyed Steve Parkin. Again, a lot of respect for Graham Barrow, but it didn't quite work. Steve Parkin came in and we were quite successful. I think I spent 2 seasons under Steve Parkin.
Your stats are good though. You played. You've had a good run out there.
I enjoyed it. We had some really good times. That's where I met. Well, I didn't meet Flicker. I knew Flicker from being from Bolton, but that's the first time we'd played together. But we got on really well, and I found it really difficult when I left Plymouth. I got released by Steve Parkin. Never fell out with Steve because he was a brilliant manager. Got an awful lot of respect for him, but I found it hard leaving that because I found a bit of an home, and I got on really well with Flicker. But I ended up leaving Rochdale and going down to Cheltenham. I signed a 3-year deal for Steve Cottrell at 31 years of age.
That's another big manager in Hickcott. Then
Crazy, mate. Yeah. Honestly, you know, but he wanted to sign me straight away, and I thought, you know, 3-year deal at 31. You know, I've got to sign it. I said to Lisa, I said, I've got to sign this deal. I said, I've got to do. I said, I've not got like clubs phoning me up left, right, and centre here. Steve, 3-year deal, moved down to Cheltenham on my own. Me and Julian Alsop, so we lived in an house together, and I looked after Jules. I cooked all his food and everything for him because I didn't really play. It was made obvious, like within probably the first 10 games of the season. It became apparent to me and Steve. We sat there and had a chat. We weren't suited with respect to styles.
Yeah,
I was centre half. I needed players in and around me. He wanted to press, and when he pressed, and his midfield were running away from me. There was space everywhere, and I'm like, I'm getting a sweat on going. Oh no, I can't play in this team.
Your heat map's like this, isn't it?
Unbelievable. You know, so I've gone from like doing like a 4K like jog around to like doing like 12K.
Doing more running than wingers.
Steve, so we sat down and we had a good chat, and he said, listen, I get what you're saying and I know I can't play you. So I ended up like trying to help out in a different way, and I did do for a while, and then I ended up at Wrexham under Dennis Smith, and that was, wow, brilliant. It suited me down to the ground because I could control out on the pitch how deep we were or how high we were, you know, and I ended up like, we had Darren Ferguson in front of us, Lee Trundle playing.
Lee Trundle,
honestly, I'm not.
He must be young then, though, isn't it?
Oh, listen, I'm not being funny.
Wow.
He was incredible, incredible. He scored an hat-trick against Wigan in the what did they call it, the Papa John's Trophy or whatever. I don't know what it's called now. So he scored an hat-trick in that game. Wow. He chipped the goalkeeper from inside the 18-yard. His skill was incredible.
I've seen some videos.
He scored goals in, didn't he, as well?
Trundle,
incredible.
Yeah.
You know what a talent.
He was a good Champ League One player, Trundle, wasn't he?
He should have been, with his ability, a Premier League player for 10 years. And he would have been one of the best players anyone had ever seen. But I don't think he got that balance right from football and socialising. Definitely not.
He loved the titles, didn't he?
I think he loved everything.
He was good football. He was a good player, sign on a Football Manager.
He was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, you could score goals and get him up there.
He was cheap though as well.
Cheap, it's nice and cheap, yeah.
So from the, was it Morecambe?
Yeah, I ended up going back to Cheltenham, and
Did you?
we ended up at Cheltenham getting promoted. I didn't play. I think I played 2 games that season, but I got on really well with Steve and his coaching staff, to be honest, and I helped out as much as I could. I thought, there's no point in me doing nothing here, and you don't want a senior player going toxic and going against the grain. So I just said, Steve, I'll do whatever it takes to help you, like on the training pitches. And we ended up getting promotion. Steve left that summer. Graham Owner took over, and I thought, I've got a great chance of playing here, League One. We've just got promoted. I've just played League One football at Wrexham.
Yeah.
For Dennis Smith. First day of pre-season, he said, I don't want you, Keith. I said, wow. I said, I've got 2 years left.
You still got me.
He went, yeah, but I don't want you. He said, listen, he said, you don't suit the way that we want to play. I said, I get that. I said, but I've got a bit of League One experience. But I ended up at Morecambe then, under Jim Harvey, and I really enjoyed it up at Jim Harvey because, oh wow, he wanted to play expansive, wide open football, and he had players there who
you could play that way.
Ridiculous. Honestly, I'm not being funny. Jim Harvey, I've got to take my hat off to him because, Irishman, crazy. I had this ideology of the way to play football. Stood on the touchline smoking a cigar. We had Andy Much as his assistant manager. But there's some players in that team, like when I look back, we're talking about over 24 years ago. We had David Perkins, Stuart Drummond. There were honestly players who were playing in the National League. We finished second. We got beat in the playoffs, and then I got released. And then it was just a question of then. I ended up at Bolton doing, the under 9s, 10s and 11s for a couple of seasons until I got the phone call of Steve Parkin to be the youth team manager.
Wow.
So while you when you were there then, like you was finishing at Cheltenham and they said that to you and you knew you were moving on, did you start your badges?
I'd already started when I got to Rochdale. I become disenchanted with football and the dynamics of what happens when you're not playing. And unfortunately, it's still there. And I must admit, I've probably used them myself, as a manager, as a coach. But you forget that it's somebody's passion. It's somebody who loves the game of football. And you don't want to destroy it. But at some point, it becomes not hard work. But I remember saying to my dad, I want to pack this in, you know what I mean? And my dad, he was my biggest fan. And my biggest person that I'd take advice off and lean to. But I ended up phoning him 2 or 3 times saying, listen, I just want to pack it in, Dad. I've had enough, But he said, well, why don't you start taking your coaching badges? And I never really thought about, being a coach because, I'd always been this happy-go-lucky sort of, I want to play sort of, spontaneous free football.
Yeah.
So I started taking them and wow, did it give me a different perspective. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's great.
It's great.
And I kept thinking to myself, why have I never been coached this? You know what I mean? And I ended up doing the C licence, the B licence. I did the A licence, which was mental torture as well as it was brilliant because at the time I had this coach, mentor, Dick Bay, who was the FA. I would say he was the best coach to actually coach ex-players. He was incredible, Dick Bay, honestly. I don't know whether you've heard of him or seen any of his stuff, but everything at the time was like the Dutch way of playing and the Dutch way of coaching, and he was brilliant. But honestly, I loved every aspect of the coaching, and I ended up getting my A licence before I went down to Cheltenham at 31. Wow. So I was already an A licence coach the season that I joined Cheltenham, and then when I got my first management job, I ended up doing my pro license then. And but it just shows you, and it really lifted me again because there were a different side of football that I didn't realise I could really enjoy, and I love passing on the knowledge. The knowledge, a different way, and I kept thinking to myself, you know, I could have been a better player if I'd been coached.
Yeah.
But like,
it's mad, isn't it?
there was coaching go on, but far too many times. And again, you know, I had some unbelievable mentors and unbelievable coaches, stroke managers. But it was, well, you play centre half all your life. You should know how to play there, you know. And I got asked to play at left back, right back, defensive midfield, and I'd never played there.
No.
You know,
you just know you trade it back like at centre half.
You know, and then all of a sudden the manager's coming to you and listen, I'm playing in the Championship here, and like, this is I swear to God. So 15 minutes before we have a pre-match meeting at the hotel room.
Yeah.
Not during the week, like, you know, during the course of training. 15 minutes before, like, you're going to your pre-match. We're playing you today. You're playing today. You're not losing your place. You're playing, but you're either playing in midfield or right back. It's up to you where you play.
Oh.
Right. Well, it's up to you where you play. So I'm asking the questions like, well, who plays at right back if I play in midfield, and who plays in midfield if I play at right back? So I got the answers. So I said, right, I'll play right back. Right. We ended up winning the game, but I never played right back. And I'm playing in the Championship away to Charlton at West Ham's ground because Charlton had the stadium like closure.
Down at Upton Park.
We won 1-0. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, did that really happen? You know, when you look back and think to yourself, like, you know, you put yourself in some crazy situation, they could have got all wrong. You know, and eventually it did go wrong for me playing right back because the opposition then started targeting me and started like working out that I'd be playing right back, so they doubled up on me offensively, and it became difficult. So eventually you end up, you know, almost doing the wrong thing by trying to do the right thing for the team.
That's crazy. So who did you go to first as a manager? Where did you go when you started your career off at?
I started with Rochdale as the youth team coach, and that gave me an opportunity to try and create an identity with the way that I wanted the players to play. First and foremost, I thought I have got to use athletes.
Yeah.
But very quickly, you know, I switched it on its head. I had to turn it on its head. I wanted football players who could become athletes, who wanted to be athletes, but had the actual knowledge and the game brains. And, you know, you can be coached, there's no question about that as a player, but I think a coach can only do so much. A player himself, for me to work with, and I want to work with a player, they have to have a certain amount of footballing intelligence and understand the game and be technically, you know, astute at what they do, like, because of the way that I want to play. And then if they've got all that and I can turn them into an athlete who's prepared to run all over the opposition, then I think we've got the perfect sort of like balance. And that's where I tried it out as the youth team coach. Steve Parky was struggling at the time at Rochdale as a manager. Me and Steve Parky were great mates, and he had an assistant manager, Tony Ford, and I was his youth team coach. He used to let me help out with the first team, but it was becoming quite clear that they were struggling and there was going to be a change in management. And the chairman, I think he sacked Steve after we got beat at Hartlepool away 1-0, I think, in the FA Cup. And the next day, the chairman gave me a call and asked could I take the first team job as an interim manager or an interim coach. And he gave me assurances that I won't lose my job as the youth team coach. He said that they were like looking to bring a new manager in. I said I would, obviously, first and foremost, contact Steve. I got Steve's blessing, and then I took the job on an interim basis of the understanding that they were looking for a new manager. Well, I think they chose a new manager, which was Andy Ritchie. Right. But there was some sort of like, not problem, but small detail that wasn't like getting matched up. So I got 2 games over a weekend, a bank holiday weekend. I think it was definitely Boston. Steve Evans was the manager, and we won 4-0 on the Saturday, and then we went to Grimsby on the Monday, and we won 4-0. But at the Boston game, Andy Ritchie was in the stands, in the director's box, and he was due to be announced after the game, apparently. But it went silent again, and I got a phone call the next day off the chairman saying, listen, you know, we've not sorted this out, you're going to be the manager, or can you take the team again on Monday against Grimsby? So I took the team again. and we won 4-0. And then after that game, he come and saw me and said, "It's yours till the end of the season."
It's good that, isn't it, though? They recognised what you've done and stuff. So, decent.
2 games, 6 points.
Yeah.
The job till the end
I
of
think
the
we
season.
ended up, we played 24 games, and again, I brought Flicker in to be the assistant manager, and we hit the ground running. I think we played 24 games, won 13, drew 7, lost 4.
Wow.
It's a good
So,
record.
yeah.
Really good.
Promotion record, isn't it?
We really enjoyed it. We just missed out on getting to the playoffs.
Wow.
But, we had some good players. We had the likes of Glenn Murray playing up front,
Yeah.
Glenn
Chris
Murray.
Dagnall,
Yeah.
You're
Gary
as well,
Jones.
didn't you, as
We
well?
ended up bringing
Lefondre.
Lefondre in on loan that season.
Wow.
Him and Glenn Murray, they were the perfect
Class
partnership.
Glenn
They
Murray.
were
He's had a
unbelievable.
great career as well,
Yeah,
hasn't he?
yeah.
So's Fonder as well, though.
Yeah.
They were brilliant, but you know, like sometimes, like you again, we're talking about like not having to coach. Them two just hit it off straight away. You know,
Yeah.
Glenn Murray and Alfie was brilliant in the 6-yard box. He was brilliant in the penalty box. You know, Glenn Murray was incredible at holding the ball up. You get Alfie making runs off him. Any crosses that came into the box, you had Alfie and Glenn Murray. They were incredible together. We had Chris Dagnall as well.
Yeah.
Chris
yeah.
Dagnall had been
He was a
like
good player, him.
Class.
Chris had been injured. That's why we got Alfie in, and Alfie and Glenn. They were incredible honestly, together. Partnership made in heaven.
Yeah, I seen he was. I remember him when he were at Rochdale. But yeah, he was only a young lad as well then, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and he ended up going back to Stockport. We ended up
Yeah.
recruiting him the next season, but again, we ended up having to sell Glenn Murray. We got to the playoffs the first full season. Stockport beat us at Wembley. The next season, we just got to the playoffs. Gillingham beat us in the semi-finals, and then the season after, we got promoted.
Wow.
He went to Stockport, didn't he? Did he go to Reading then? Fondra.
He went to Rotherham after that.
Oh yeah, then he went to
Yeah.
Reading, didn't he?
Then
Yeah,
what Wanderers later on, wasn't it?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a goal scorer. You
Yeah.
know,
He's scoring now.
he
still,
still
isn't
will
as well?
be. There's no question about that. You know, but all his work was done inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, little fox in a box.
He's
seen a few
incredible.
goals. I think he scored 4 against Bolton one time for Reading.
You know, incredible player. There's no
Most
question
likely.
about
Remember,
it.
he was on fire at Reading, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had a bit of players around, didn't he? That they could play football, and Fondra was your man in the box. He scored your goals to get you promotions, doesn't it? So did you not have Ian Henderson? Did he not play under you?
He did, but that was the second time. Obviously, I left and went to Barnsley, and then I had Ian Henderson the second
Oh, I
time.
thought he might have been a bit younger. He is quite old in this. I think he
Yeah,
did quite a lot.
I think
for
I got him
Rangers,
as
but,
maybe a 26, 27-year-old. Yeah, I think he'd just left Colchester. So in the January window, the season that I went back to Rochdale, there was him and Michael Rose, and they were both down at Colchester. They both cancelled the contracts, so we picked them up both on a free, and that was the start of the second period at Rochdale, where we got promoted within one season. But to get the likes of Ian Henderson, Michael Rose, I had Jack O'Connell on loan from Blackburn Rovers.
yeah, Craig Davis is all, didn't you, at back centre half?
Craig Dawson.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I meant Dawson. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dawson. Sorry, I knew that didn't
Dawson.
right.
Yeah, we had him on the first phase. We ended up getting him from Ratcliffe Borough, and we were not afraid, myself and Flicker, to bring players from the non-league, give them an opportunity because they're hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, really hungry.
Yeah.
They still are now.
And
aren't they?
they are the most professional because they feel as though they maybe have missed out. So they'll do everything to be,
Work hard.
ridiculous. The
What was
best
he like
professional.
him? Good player.
Incredible. He played every training session like it was a football match.
Wow.
His
That's
life
what he has,
depended
isn't
on it. I mean, one of the hardest central defenders, and it's not old school; it's the right school. His mentality was incredible. I've worked with some central defenders: Craig Dawson, Jack O'Connell. But for his injury, Jack O'Connell, but for his injury, would have been like the best left-sided centre half. He would have played for England. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And John Stones. So them three in themselves, but Craig Dawson, wow, so hard, ruthless. I know he played for Bolton. He was brilliant
He was
for
very,
Bolton.
very good.
Yeah.
But ruthless, absolute ruthless. And again, I think that's a consequence of him thinking that he'd missed out on his professional career. He was an incredible character, and I still keep in touch with him, Mike.
Premier League, he still plays in Premier League, doesn't he?
Well, he has been doing it. He's out of contract. He got released by Wolves at the end of the
But
season. I don't think
Wolves.
he's got.
Did he not go back? I thought he
He
was still
didn't
there.
get any
or-
game time, did he, though?
He went
No.
West Ham, didn't he? And then
He
he
didn't
went
get, I
to
saw
West
that. He's,
So I think he's still looking for a club, but I
He'll
think
class
he's
at
holding
West
out
Brom.
for another Premier League club.
Brom. He will get one.
He should do.
Yeah, we're
He
class
won't
at
sign him,
West,
he's
class at
class.
West Brom.
He scored quite a lot of goals at young age at Wanderers as well, though. He used to always get on the score sheet there.
We got 21 goals from him in 2 seasons.
Wow.
That's big.
And I'm telling you now, we never practiced set plays.
just good in the physical wise.
He's
Incredible.
he's
You know, we
tall,
talk about
isn't
Alfie Lafondra in that 18-yard box,
Yeah.
6-yard box. He was exactly the same on corners and free kicks.
Just
Wow.
leaps and
Incredible.
runs. Yeah,
Wow.
that's good.
So
that.
you were Rochdale, and you said you went to Barnsley.
Yeah.
So how long did you at Barnsley?
I was 18 months at
So
Barnsley.
is that when you met Stones there?
I give him his debut. I mean, prior to us going to Barnsley, myself, Flicker, I wanted to take over staff because they needed rewarding, and the staff were really good. Like, you trust your staff, don't you? We
Yeah, of
had a
course.
strength and conditioning coach, we had goalkeeping coach, myself and Flicker. And we had an analyst. So we took everybody, but we took our chief scout as well. But he said to us as we were going over, he said, listen, he said, I'm not being funny. He said, youth team, he said, they've got this player, John Stones. He said, he'll be the next England captain. He said, he'll be an England
Wow.
captain, not the next England captain. He said, he'll be an England captain. He said, he's that good. He said, is he? He went, yeah. So we got there and we knew straight away, like, we were having to cut the budget, which we thought we could do and be successful because we'd done it at Rochdale. We worked on, you know, a really small budget, a relegation type budget, if you like, to get promoted. So we thought, well, we could go to Barnsley and do the same. Cut the budget, but bring the youth players through. And we had the likes of Danny Rose, we had Clarkey. I brought Now Ranger in from Newcastle.
Did he come from Newcastle?
Was he in Newcastle? I thought, not youth there.
He
No.
left, and he Newcastle.
Wow,
And,
I remember him.
It's when he went down. When
I remember him being at Barnsley.
Did he get relegated then? Is that when he left there, or did he go up as with Nolan were playing? And I think sure he got left there.
I think
People shoot him off like.
I think so, yeah. Listen, Now Ranger, again, John Stones was incredible. Straight away, we brought him into the first team. We sort of tried to develop him, getting used to the tempo of everything that we did. We looked after him. There was Clicker Clark in there as well, like Ruben Noble, Lazarus. There's some really good players. And we just got them all with us, tried to develop them. But we brought Now Ranger on loan the first season from Newcastle. Wow. And I mean, wow. What a player. Talk about wasted talent.
Everyone says that about
Yeah.
him.
One of the best players. You know, we talk about Burstall now, right? I think Burstall's a really good player.
Unreal.
I think he's brilliant at catching
Class.
that ball on his chest. He can run across the lines.
Control he's got.
He's brilliant, right? Now Ranger. Unbelievable. I remember us turning up at Leeds and we were playing Leeds and we were on the way in and there were a lot of whispers and all the whispers were from the opposition. Now Ranger playing, now Ranger playing.
You had Vazatei as well, didn't you?
Yeah, Vazatei.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was a time when we were at Barnsley, we were,
Ridiculous.
I mean, flying. We went to Leeds, we beat Leeds 2-1. Vazatei scored an hat-trick against Leeds when we beat Leeds 4-1 at
Unreal.
but we had Now Ranger, Craig Davis.
He's
Again,
a character, isn't he?
brilliant
Yeah,
character.
he's class, isn't he?
Now Ranger, Craig Davis, Vazatei, Danny Drinkwater, John Stones,
Wow.
Jacob Butterfield, who were brilliant,
He's a good player.
and David Perkins. And you know,
Class.
honestly, I'm not being funny. We had the makings of a great side, there, and then all of a sudden we get to January, and some were sold, and some got injured. Like I think Jacob Butterfield at the time, he was flying. I mean, he was playing brilliant.
Great player.
He ended up doing his ACL against Leeds, so we ended up drifting off, and we couldn't maintain it. Just couldn't maintain it. But now, like I said, Now Ranger, he was an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Got him on the training pitch, got him in the changing rooms, brilliant. But you could not manage him off the pitch.
Really?
Was he not
What's
like
it
sold?
like proper
I don't-
lifestyle? And
I think so, yeah. And again, you get to a point where there's too many rumours, and all the rumours can't be wrong, can they?
No.
You know, and no matter who you phone, and he'll know this as a player, like every time he made a phone call to try and get a club to take him, it was a no. A straight no. Straight no, yeah. So, but for me at Barnsley, he was brilliant, absolutely superb. But again, it was what was happening off the field. He couldn't see it himself, but voices of experience were trying to tell him. And to a point, you can only look after him for, I suppose, not even 40% of the time.
Wow.
So what he's actually doing himself, he has to take accountability and control. And unfortunately, he was too easily influenced by external influences.
He was a good player. Was he on tag then when he were at Barnsley? Or was that?
No.
Was that at Newcastle? That?
I think it might have been maybe Newcastle, but at Barnsley he was fine. Like and again, like we had quite an experienced changing room who looked after him and tried to guide him, but it was when he wasn't on the football pitch that was the problem.
Well, that was the worry.
Yeah. It was a real worry, and you know, like it become too difficult to manage. But the talent as a player, we talk about wasted talent, and you know, I don't like saying it, but it's a wasted talent when you consider the amount of players who didn't want to play against him. And I remember him at Leeds, like, and you know, the floodlights were on, and he's jumping like what seemed like 8 foot in the air, like catching this ball on his chest, like incredible.
Unreal. I remember.
Was it a worry on a Friday night, for example?
Yeah.
Was he going to turn up tomorrow?
Listen, I've had a load of worries like that with players, but you know, you don't want to publicise, you know, how hard it is and the phone calls you're getting, and
on a Friday night.
But you're getting off players as well sometimes.
You know, senior players who's a bit more experienced.
Senior players, you're getting off sometimes off the players yourself. You get to a point where a player's actually indicating to you that he can't play or he's not able to play in the morning because he's on the phone telling you he's out, and you can hear that he's out. And I'm not saying it was not a Ranger, but this has happened throughout the course of my career where they're almost saying, well, I can't play tomorrow.
And then really pints deep and whatever else.
So that's where it comes in. He's pulled his calf in warm up, or he's called his calf.
You're trying to protect the long-term interests of the player, the football club, and you as a team.
You've got to keep all that public out of the club, don't you? Because it just burns up for you, don't it? It's like, oh my God, he's played for them. He didn't even turn up.
I remember leaving Newcastle. I'm like, where's he gone? So I just loved watching him there, and then I'm like,
he was there with Michael Owen, though, so he had big characters there. Then he had Luca there. He had Owen.
He did.
You had your Nolans in there. Big characters. You had your Fays. So your players like that, they've more of an older head on him, and he was a young lad who was bursting through. And you think, you Michael, and you're thinking, this lad's shit hot here.
To come through, he's going to take. Could he handle it when he was away from everything in the limelight? Is it something, you know what I mean? Or is he just like that actual lifestyle of, I've got all this money, what do I do?
I think he just enjoyed socialising with his mates, but you know, it was the wrong type of socialising for being a professional football player. You know, you've got to get the balance right, haven't you? You have to get the balance right. But I've got to say, Ricardo has to say, like, he came in and he scored 12 goals in 24 games for us. He was incredible. And he got his move to West Ham. You know, Big Sam phones up, takes Ricardo, and they get promoted. He scores a goal.
Scored the winner, didn't he?
Scored the winner.
That was a great side as well, though. They had Faye as well, though.
It's incredible.
They had a fantastic team. It's crazy. So when Barnsley, so you've gone in at Barnsley.
Back to Rochdale.
I was going to say you went to Rochdale after that.
Yeah, I did. I could have gone to a couple of different places, but you know, it ended up being a difficult end to you know, my time at Barnsley. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, but no realisation. There's a big club mentality, definitely, but you know, I think, and again, like, I don't want to offend anyone. I think Barnsley are basically a League One team club who will keep getting into the playoffs, potentially promoted. But to go the next level, you need millions. Absolute millions. If you want to be contending at the top end of the Championship, you need a billionaire owner, not a millionaire owner.
You need someone like Birmingham, don't you?
You just want to say that.
You just need the man.
And then you can put the demand on a manager. You can put the demand on the players.
No third player leaving spend as much as you want.
Look at your Birmingham's, look at your Wrexhams, who's just gone.
Throw your money in.
There's your Americans. There's power your money in. You know what I mean? The thing is, Stansfield playing 13 million they paid for him
in League One.
He doesn't even get in team, does he really?
No.
Team, it shows. I remember they signed a few players last year, and they only signed them on a 1-year contract because they're clever. I've signed you on big money, the kind of thing, and we'll go up and down. You go, see you later. We're up. We've got where we want to be. You've got your 12 months to go and enjoy yourself.
It's not like you said they've noticed because he didn't get in at Wolves, but they know he's going to be okay at that level. And
do you know when you was at Barnsley with Craig Davis? I remember. Was you manager there when Bolton beat Barnsley 2-1 at the Reebok?
Yeah.
And I remember what happened is, I remember like it was yesterday, So we were all sat in the corner near with the screen, in that corner called Crazy Corner.
Yeah.
You've probably known about that yourselves. And I remember Craig Davis. He come down. I remember I think he got took out anyway in that far corner anyway. And I remember the Bolton fans were giving him stick, and I remember getting seen by they was saying "you soft whatever" to him, and I remember him turning around and he was laughing at Bolton fans. I think Barnes might have been winning at the time, and went like, "Get up, you whatever soft ass or whatever." And then I remember him turning around.
A bit more than that.
No, I think it was that. Just, anyway, and then I remember him getting in and he smiled, and then he turned around and he did this, and we were like, "What the hell?" 2 weeks later, whatever it was, he signed for Bolton.
He signed for Bolton after I left, actually.
Yeah, so not long after then, he signed for Wanderers, and I remember saying to one of the lads, I was like, remember when Craig Davis did that, and he was right in front of us all, and he did that, I said, he signed for Wanderers now. I said, I bet he scores a load of goals because he was a good player.
Well, I got sacked, I think, towards the end of December.
Yeah, we signed him in the January.
Yeah,
because I remember...
The window opened up and then he signed it.
I remember saying to him, that's crazy that he was to sign for Wanderers, and he was really good,
Good player.
Unit.
Strong,
very good player.
He looked like he wanted to play, and I remember, I'll always remember him with his goal he scored against Wigan on a Friday night, and we beat him at home on a Friday night, and Craig Davis won goal scorer. I think Chungy got one and he got one.
Well, he's a good player to have in that team when you're playing against the Wigans and all that.
He was just big
solid,
ball.
Yeah, he's solid.
It suited that football crew in the year. He brought it down and kind of played. He was a great player.
Yeah, he did well for us, and he rightly got his move to Bolton, definitely.
But yeah, so you're going back to Rochdale?
Yeah, I ended up going back to Rochdale.
So where were they then? Like Division 2?
Well, the club had been relegated to League 2 again. So we were in League 2, but I just wanted some familiarity, and I wanted to get back to doing what I did best, which was helping develop a winning mentality, a style of play, and we got back. Well, I went back to Rochdale, took over the existing staff that were there. I think Chris Beach. We brought him in. He was brilliant, like Tony Ellis, and then we finished the season on a really good run of form after what looked like was going to be potentially fighting relegation. We just swerved it at the last minute. We beat Exeter away over a bank holiday.
Wow.
And we beat Exeter 2-1 with a 93rd minute goal, and that took us away from a relegation fight, and it gave us a lot of confidence. So we ended up winning something like the last 4 games of the season. We ended up in the top 10. But the next season we put a squad of players together, and again I invested in the non-league mentality. I went and got Scott Hogan, who'd been playing for Hyde.
Class Scott.
And the Joe Bunny, who were playing as a left winger, stroke centre forward. Got Jack O'Connell in, Ian Henderson, Michael Rose, Ashley Eastham, and once we got all those players together, we got promoted that season.
Oh. So I seen something. So you must have played a game on a Wednesday night, and I think the weather wasn't the greatest. And I remember I've seen you like, would you play out there on that? Would you play the game off? And I think you played in Oldham on the Saturday. What happened with that? Who did you play?
I'm not too sure who we played.
I just remember a big rant.
I could go on a rant. Don't you worry about that.
It was just the great you saying, would you play it?
You just you're full of emotion. You're full of I suppose you're trying to protect what you're trying to create.
Yeah.
And I could have a rant. There's no question about that. And if I'm being honest with you, sometimes the groundsman will get a big taste of that rant.
Yeah.
It's your fault that shit went.
Well, to be honest, there were a lot of games called off, and you just don't want to stop momentum. But there were no way that the game should have been played. But again, I think there's loads of them situations where I've had a rant. I think I've got sacked for a few rants.
What was it like? Do you know, Coach Tuesday night down at your ground at Rochdale?
In Scotland.
Scotland.
I played down on a Tuesday night.
Playing Bury. What's that like?
Well, it's brilliant because we made sure that our players knew how special it was to actually go out, represent our identity, and run all over the opposition. So it were never cold for our players. We had this mentality, and strong mentality, with some great leaders in there who just wanted to go out and win. And they knew these players that every game was an opportunity for them as individuals and for the team. And we just created this mentality where it really didn't matter. We just wanted to win. We lost games, obviously, you know. But majority of the time, whoever we were playing against, my dad had always said to me, if you're involved in a fight and a fist fight, you're not always going to win, but you can always leave a bit on somebody.
Yeah.
So that the next time you play against them or you fight against them, they don't really want to.
They knew who you were.
Yeah, they know.
I'll tell you what though, going Rochdale there, watching them, like I was watching them when they beat. I think you were Forest. I'm sure it was something like Forest Green or something when they beat them, and when you. Where we was, you've got like your family stand, which is high up over there.
Yeah.
And then you've got your nice little away corner there. And then on the other end, where he's saying about the crazy corner, when you go to that one at Rochdale, it's literally all the way back. And all you can hear all the way through, it was packed. You couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
So I would have go in there and it was just loads, mostly 90% males banging away with drums and honestly, and it was just unreal. And that's when we were in the league with the girls then, and we walked round. We had to walk round into each other and everything. And do you know what? The girls loved it, and all them were going.
It's
like,
only a small ground.
It's only small, but the atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere is okay. There's no question about it. But you can generate your own atmosphere, and you've got to give the supporters something to get excited about. You know, it's your job as a team to excite your fans.
Yeah.
And we tried to, and we did do on a regular basis. We got promoted twice. We had some great cup games against the Nottingham Forest. We beat Forest 1-0. We drew with Tottenham 2 each at home. We beat Leeds 2-0 at home, and that was incredible.
To do that against Tottenham and Leeds.
Yeah, so it was really good. Like, so we created our own atmosphere, and we created our own success.
That's great. But I remember the atmosphere walking. I didn't know what I'd be like. I thought like, you know what I mean? First time I'm watching them, and it was just unreal. It was packed, and I was just like, wow, great that. So what was it then after you did?
Rochdale. I had a bit of time off, and then I ended up at Bolton.
Is that was it? What did you time off? Did you just take some time out of football?
Well, I think I got sacked in March. So when I got sacked in March, I ended up.
Well, Rochdale sacked you.
Yeah, Rochdale sacked me. Yeah, so well, we were bottom of League One.
Right. Okay.
So and there were new ownerships came in. We had a new sort of like chairman, a new CEO. They wanted to go a different way. So the timing was right for them. It wasn't right for me. So when I did get sacked, I think in March, we went away a little bit because I think at the time, I think it was my 50th birthday.
Wow.
So yeah.
So who gave you the phone call at Wanderers?
Well, I did a little bit of chasing, if I'm being honest. It was difficult, you know, like when you want a job or you want to get in front of people, right? It's difficult because, you know, there's normally like somebody who's pointing you in the right direction, an agency, right? And then there'll be like big influences who want to influence who gets the job, massive influences. Okay. So like we could not get around this wall of influence to get to like Sharon, you know, or the consortium, or to Michael James, you know. So it was very difficult. We ended up, you know, through a friend of mine, being able to get in touch with Sharon, and she invited us down to London for an interview on a Friday, knowing that the window was closing on the Monday.
Wow.
And they only took over the club, the consortium of Michael James, I think on that Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So on the Friday we got interviewed. Saturday they played a game in Gillingham. I think they got beat 5-0.
Yeah.
And then we got appointed on the Sunday.
I remember it was a late on as well, that wasn't it? They announced it. I remember seeing it on Twitter.
I was in the Astley Bridge Cricket Club. I think.
Is that where you were?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a family party. I'm not too sure.
What you were at?
Yeah. And listen, I'm not being funny. The only thing that took away from that day was the fact that my dad weren't there. Like to actually get the phone call from Michael James to say that we've got the job. Full flicker. My mum's there, my sisters are there, my wife's there, my lad's there, my daughters. It was incredible.
Wow.
You know, it was a really, 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 you know, incredible feeling. Like incredible feeling.
Who rang you there from then?
Michael James. You know, he's part of the consortium, or he's an individual who part owns the football club I went to, believe.
What was running through your head then, all that? Just been
It was brilliant, and then there was that whole shit moment, right, you know what I mean? Because
I would be straight to
listen, it's by far the biggest club that I've ever got the opportunity to be a head coach, stroke manager of.
Yeah.
But the task in hand, we didn't realise. We had no idea whatsoever. One day the window left, and again, Bolton's plight was made more difficult with the embargo, with the fact that they'd lost all the best players. Well, they hadn't really, because there were players there who did deserve respect. There was players that I took over who deserved respect. There's no question about that. But they've been heavily reliant on the youth team, and that was really unfair but necessary for the club to survive. Because if they couldn't have fielded a team, they would have gone down the same route as Bury probably. Bury got like expunged from the league. So the enormity of the task was huge, and we didn't really realise that, and I don't think anyone did. I don't think Sharon did, Michael James, the consortium.
The challenge ahead.
No. Yeah. Until you actually got into that stadium and you got into the training pitch and you realised, you know, that it had been neglected, and the people had been neglected who were still there, the staff, the stadium staff. But we were trying to focus too much on footballing success. We should have concentrated on people's success, making them feel good about representing Bolton again. But we were hell bent on it being a footballing opportunity. So we got lost in that transition that needed to be more about people than it did about football, because they hadn't been paid. They were owed a lot of money, the people had existing staff that remained. And it was a difficult transition, but we were trying to focus as much as we could on the football. And that was very difficult, trying to recruit players, get them up to speed, and ultimately the demands of the fans, which is getting results. Absolutely. Which was nigh on impossible. And I wish I'd have just relaxed instead of being full throttle at 100 miles an hour and said, you know what, I've got to enjoy this experience. I've got to enjoy this journey, because the embargo that was imposed on Bolton, the punishment for allowing Bolton to survive was relegation.
Yeah. And
it should have been said by the EFL with the way that they put the embargo in place. And we weren't aware of the embargo and the ramifications of the embargo until we got to sit down with Simon Marlin on that first day when we was trying to do transactions to get players in. So we were in on the on the Monday, I think it was the Sunday. We were doing transactions, or trying to get transactions, but we had to get everything, you know, okayed from the EFL.
So, what's it like first day in?
It's difficult, like I say. You know, we're trying to deal with almost the youth team realising that they're probably not going to play the type of football that they played for the first part of the season. We're integrating, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think Jack Dearham calls them the dirty dozen. 12 players into a season that's already up and running. 5 or 6 games with players who haven't played a minute of football. So it was very difficult. Within that first week where we had the international break, we had some really good productive training sessions where we thought, we've got half a chance here of you know, at least getting into a position where we can challenge the teams above us. But it never materialised, because there was always sort of like an injury that came up, or, you know, something would just put a spanner in the works, and that's how it materialised. And it became a very, very difficult challenge, because there was demand to be successful, and rightly so, because Bolton is a big club.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Do you know when you come in, did you sign any players in that deadline day? Did you bring a few in?
We did, yeah. We had the likes of Liam Bridcutt. We had Thibaut Verlinden.
Oh yeah.
Daryl Murphy.
It's another big character.
Adam Chickson. Chris O'Grady. Yeah, we had Josh Wright, I think, the central defender from Sheffield United. I think we got as many as we could in, within reason. Josh Emmanuel, the right back.
Yeah, Josh Emmanuel's a good player him as well.
Yeah, he did really well, but it was difficult because none of the players had, you know, really like done a proper pre-season or played any games. But listen, it was a great opportunity, one that I would never ever like have turned down in a million and one Sundays. You know what I mean?
You had so that Daryl, is he alright? That Daryl Murphy?
Yeah, good. Very good.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, Daryl Murphy came in from Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
We knew that he had a minor injury, but we had to take the risk because of his experience. I think at the time he was 34, 35, maybe 36. We knew that he was he was going to, we had to manage his games, but we couldn't afford to. We had to play him. And we'd come to a point where he just played too much football. And we needed to try and relieve a little bit of pressure on his playing time, but we couldn't because he was leading the line. He was a player that the rest of the team respected, look up to, and he was a brilliant professional. Brilliant.
You had Thingy, didn't you? That Thingy Zuma, Curtis Zuma's brother.
Kurt Zuma, yeah.
You had him. Was he like?
Again, we never saw eye to eye. And again, it can be said of a lot of the players, and again, it should have been about the people. There was a lot of players who represented Bolton who aren't playing football now, and you've got to try and strike the balance when you bring in young players through. Not all of them are going to make it, and again, I talk about it and I alluded to it about enjoying, loving football, but having to deal with the demands that the fans put on you, the manager puts on you, your teammates put on you to win, and it was really difficult for that those youth players to try and strike the balance to those demands. And far too many of them weren't good enough, but were being asked to do something that the club needed them to do. And it was a difficult time for a lot of those players, because a lot of those players now, not involved in football.
You had Harry Broadbank, is he called?
Harry Broadbank, yeah.
Adam Senior played as well. But
Adam
he's doing alright, Senior though, isn't he?
Doing brilliant, absolutely superb.
Player.
So there's Adam Senior.
Very good.
I keep in touch with Adam. There's Ronan Darcy, who's at Chesterfield, I think. Now he went to Ronan Darcy, sorry, yeah. And Dennis Politic, I think he's playing.
Politic? Is he not playing in Hungary?
Yeah, I think so.
Good player, him.
You know, so the real player that we missed in the early stages of like me trying to get a consistent team with Jack Hobbs. Yeah, I think the last game he played for us was Blackpool on that Friday night.
I remember, yeah.
And I thought he was brilliant. And if we could have kept him fit, as somebody who can lead and be that centre half that I talked about, no, you're not going there, he's staying here. Yeah. Because he was the voice, he was brilliant. Liam Bridcut was superb as well.
He's had a great career as well.
Yeah, he was incredible.
From Forest as well, cut from Forest and then played at Lincoln, and he's there for a couple of good years as well. He was quality, and I was gutted when he left him, because I thought, he was just that man who just holded everything together in front.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah. But again, when we got to January,
he had a little pivot, didn't he? Yeah. Just like picked it up, I'll drop it off. He was class.
I liked him.
Yeah. I think everyone realised, we were definitely getting relegated. If they didn't realise it when they first came to the club, when we got to January, it was definitely getting. And it was difficult because the likes of Liam Bridcut left, Josh Earl left, and there was other players who wanted to leave that we didn't allow to leave. So it was a difficult January, there's no question about that. But and the season was cut short very quickly with COVID.
I know. Did you have Remy Matthews? Did he play goal then?
Yeah,
Remy.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he?
Absolutely superb. And again, he's somebody that I've got a lot of time for, and it was a great help. And at no point did the likes of him or Lowe, Jason Lowe, they didn't once, go on football strike or work to rule. They were brilliant. They represented Bolton absolutely magnificently well.
He's a good professional, that Lowe, isn't he?
Brilliant.
He went to Salford as well, didn't he, after Wanderers?
Yeah, I think he's been at Salford, he's been at Port Vale, he's at Tranmere now, I think.
Yeah, he's at Tranmere, yeah. A good player, him.
Yeah. So,
Bolton go down, then what happens with you then? What's the board said to you?
Well, we just, our contract run out during the course of that summer. So I just got a phone call from Michael James saying, they're not renewing the contract. As simple as that, really.
Oh, right, that's good. So when you left Wanderers, where'd you go then?
Tranmere.
So you went over Tranmere?
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wow.
Another challenge.
Listen, I'm not being funny as well, right? I think it just must be me. It must be me. But still the most successful manager they've ever had. If we're looking at stats here, because every manager talks about stats, win percent ratio, 50%, right?
Wow.
Now, I've been the worst manager at some clubs with respect to win ratio. But Tranmere, so I had, arguably, I went in November. Matt Palios, I admit.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether you realise, the previous season, which obviously got stopped because of COVID, I think our last victory was against Tranmere. for Bolton. So we beat Tranmere 2-0, remember?
I do. I remember when we got beat as well though at Tranmere, like 6-0 or something.
No, not with me.
Oh no, just when we got beat when
But
we played Tranmere though.
Right, I don't know.
It might have been same season.
We got
That might have been you when you went there.
no. we beat Tranmere when I was at Bolton 2-0 at home,
Right,
and that
okay.
was one of the last games before. I think the 3, maybe 4 games after that were the season finished. And after we beat Tranmere went on a run. But that game virtually sent Tranmere down and kept Rochdale up. So the next season, obviously, I went down to Tranmere, in the November. I think they were 15th in the league at the time. Right. Playoffs. That's the minimum I expect. Playoffs. So I said, right, no worries. Great team, Mike. By the way, the recruitment was superb. We had Varney who played up front, Clarkey centre half, Jay Spearing in midfield.
Did you have Dans in there? Neil Dans played?
No, Neil Dans weren't there. No.
Did you not go then? Neil
No.
Dans? Oh.
So we had James Vaughan up front, brilliant.
Yeah, good.
Jay Spearing as your pivot, and Clarkey as your centre half, like no nonsense centre half. So it was brilliant, like, and we had Dave Owen goal. So we had experience, but we married it up really well. We started climbing the league. We got into the top 3. Obviously, we were playing against Bolton.
Yeah.
Bolton were rivals for promotion. But we got to a point in the season where the way that I wanted to play, I wanted to make an impact. So I used the Papa John's Trophy as a massive way of showing everybody this is the way I want us to play.
Yeah.
And it started getting replicated in the league. So we went on an unbelievable run. We got to the final of the Papa John's Trophy. Got beat by Sunderland 1-0.
Wow.
We went down to Leyton Orient and we won 3-1, but during the course of that game, James Vaughan got a smash from the side. And that was it.
There's your striker.
Wow. Unbelievable. From that point onwards, we started drawing games instead of winning games. We weren't losing games, we were drawing, winning on one of the. We ended up being out of the top 3 for, I think, only the last 4 or 5 games of the season. We got into the playoffs. That night we got into the playoffs, we drew with Salford at home, last game of the season. Got a text message off Mark Palios. Well done, getting into the playoffs. So I got into the playoffs, which is what he asked us to do. Got to the final of Papa John's Trophy. On the Sunday night, I got a text message saying, can you meet me at the football club on Monday? I said, well, we're off Monday, like we're in on Tuesday. Can you come and meet me at Tuesday? Got sacked.
Why?
What were the reasons?
Because
again,
expectations he wanted you.
Well, I'm not too sure, to be honest, why. And it's the angriest I've ever been, angriest I've ever been. I was asked to do something and I did what I was asked to do. And I wasn't given the opportunity to take the team against Morecambe in the playoffs. So I was really, really, really upset about that because there was almost a suggestion that I'd fallen out with the senior players, but I hadn't. I had like Clarkey, Jay Spearing, James Vaughan, Liam Feeney.
He
left Wanderers, didn't he?
They were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. Honestly, they were phoning up saying,
I liked him, mate.
and I was really gutted because I thought, right, I've got a great chance of getting this team promoted back to League One, and we did have, but they got beat by Morecambe in the playoffs. And I was really upset. That one really, really hurt me. I understand not getting renewed contracts at Bolton. I understood getting sacked at Barnsley.
Did he give you an excuse or was it just?
He basically said, the fans hadn't taken to me, and the fans would have been allowed back into the stadium for the playoff first leg, and he didn't feel as though it would have been a good atmosphere for me to be the manager. Basically,
That's ridiculous.
So they might have had someone else in mind anyway then. So
maybe, but again, you start trying to think and overanalyse where it's gone wrong, etc., etc. And again, I could be accused of 1 or 2 interviews that weren't quite suited to the hierarchy and the supporters. But I am a quite passionate, vocal at times person. But again, that was the biggest disappointment. Not getting sacked by other clubs, but actually getting sacked by Tranmere, that really hurt me.
Yeah, that would
No explanation.
Probably kill that. No, you don't. Look at your win rate though.
Yeah, but that's still there. That's still there.
Look at that though. So no one will beat that at Tranmere.
Well, they might do. And you want the club to do really well. There's no question about that. Some good players, good staff still there now. I really enjoyed my time there, but again, it's just the way that it ended. It really did hurt me. It was like a real kidney blow, that.
Proper kicking nuts in it, that though.
So you left Tranmere, you had a bit of time out, you went to Scunthorpe, didn't
Yeah, nightmare.
Was it?
I had really got on with the chairman, but it was a team and a club that was withdrawing financially.
Okay.
And again, I put it down to experience. I couldn't do anything to change the outcome of the previous form and the current form and the continued form. But what I did know is the club wasn't going to bottom out by getting relegated from League One. You know, you try your best to turn the tide, but there needs to be this point where you reach rock bottom. And rock bottom had come to Scunthorpe getting relegated to the National League. They got relegated to the National League North.
Yeah.
You know, and now they built. Andy Butler's come in. You know, he is a bit of a Scunthorpe legend. He's done really well getting them promoted back to the National League, and I think they're in the top 6 in the National League. So it's a club that's on the mend, on the rise again. But there was far too much damage done at the football club that you can't see, that's not transparent until you actually get in. And sometimes when you're in it, you dig yourself in deeper instead of trying to dig yourself out.
Yeah.
You try and put the emphasis on youth because there's no finances available. So I started playing virtually the youth team just to try and conjure up some saleable assets. And again, you end up running out of time because again, as a manager, as a coach, it's all about the result. And if you're not getting the results, at some point you're going to be put under pressure. But I will say, you know, adverse to what anyone else thinks, I got on really well with Peter Swan, and I thought he would have been a good chairman if we could have had the financial backing that he'd give previous managers.
It's crazy that.
Not that.
Have you been anywhere since Scunthorpe?
No, that was it really.
Is it?
Have you had any offers?
No, I've not really
I've not really reached out since.
I've not reached out. If anyone wants to make a call, you know, I wouldn't be adverse to getting, you know, to talks. I have actually been interviewed for jobs, but, you know, I took some advice off a lot of ex-managers, and one in particular, I don't want to mention names, but he said when you're in the interview, tell them everything that they want to hear. And I've done that, and I've fell as a consequence to telling them everything that they want to hear and what I can do and what we will do, etc., etc. And I changed tacks at one of the interviews and I told them the truth about everything. You know, why they've not been successful, why they're not doing that. Consequently, I didn't get a job.
But I like that type of thing. It's not arrogance. It's more like, this is what you've done wrong, but this is what I can do type of thing. So
I wanted to see.
I can fill an hole.
I wanted to see if they were going to listen. You know,
Yeah.
you get a lot of situations where they don't listen unless you're telling them exactly what they want to hear. If you're telling them how they can turn it around with respect to they must do this, must do that, they've got this wrong, they've got that wrong, you can see straight away they're not listening.
Yeah, because obviously you do your homework on the club before you go to them, don't you? See where they're at, what the staff's like, what you're backing with, your players, your money's your big one. You're going in there, you've got a few older players, they're injured, and then you've got 20 youth players who's coming through from 23, shot a couple of 18s. Well, you know you want to put that into provision, but are you going to listen to me? Are you going to let me have my way and trust me?
Yeah.
Or do you know? You need to know that.
Well, there's many a manager who I've spoke to, and they say that they wish that they could record what's been said in the interview process prior to you getting that job, because they'll tell you 1,000,001 things that you want to hear, and they expect you to tell them 1,000,001 things that they want to hear. But in reality, most of what you've told each other doesn't actually happen.
Just go in like this next time, you know, like that.
Just go in blindfolded and just go with it. Do you know when you're at Wanderers though? Who did you rally most to play against? Who was your best game, and you thought, you know what, we'll never do that? It's your favourite game in there?
The favourite game was probably the Sunderland at home.
Okay.
We were 1-0 up into the 93rd minute. I think they scored with a penalty, didn't they?
At the end. Yeah.
Now the atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah,
I think we played We played Rotherham, got smashed 6-1, I
Yeah.
think. We drew 0-0 with Oxford on the Tuesday night, and then we played Sunderland with a severely jaded squad of players.
Yeah, I remember.
And talk about like Remy Matthews, what a game he had.
He was class,
But
wasn't
that atmosphere was incredible. But I think obviously we beat Bristol Rovers away for the first victory, or
he? A couple of Sunderland fans in there.
the home victory over Fleetwood. I think we won 2-0, I think, but we hung on towards the end. I think it might have been 2-1 in the end. I'm not too sure, but yeah, you know, and it was brilliant actually being able to go out and represent my hometown at the stadium. Stadium's magnificent, and in front of the supporters. The supporters, you know, they put a huge demand on any manager, but they don't know the ramifications of what I'm trying to deal with. I remember when I first got the job, and I walked into the No Name, which is a local pub of mine in Harwood, and I thought I'll have a quiet drink, and I got some supporter come up to me, and the club, by the way, have just avoided administration and being expunged from the EFL, and I think they had debts of 120-30 million pounds been saved, and he come up to me and said, I don't want to hear any excuses. I said, well, excuses of what? He went, just get some money spent and win some fucking football games.
That's what you want to hear, though, isn't it?
That was it.
It's good that. Yeah, is that where you're from? That way, Harwood? Yeah. Is that?
I'm from Halliwell, you know, again, but I live up in Bradshaw now.
Oh, nice. That's good. So, if you come up, who's the best manager you come up against?
Best manager? Pochettino, I think.
Who was you at then?
Rochdale when they played at Tottenham. Played at Tottenham.
FA Cup.
Played in the FA Cup. I think he's probably the best. Eriksson, Sven-Göran Eriksson when he was at Leicester.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Who's the worst one you come up in? Right, okay, no, right, let me put it in a different context. Who did you hate coming up against as a manager you thought was absolute idiot?
Belland.
I'm just trying to be a present.
Say it like it is, Alex.
I don't know, to be honest. I think most managers, they've been good. Like I found it difficult dealing with Steve Evans on the touchline and his antics.
Yeah.
But away from the touchline, he's a pleasant person. But I don't like the way that, and I didn't like the way that he would
provoke.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't like Bolton, Steve. You don't like.
No, I know what you mean. You can see him when you're watching him, though, and he's very animated, isn't he? And he's like this, he's like that.
He is animated. He gets involved, but I think he oversteps the mark at times.
What's the worst player you come up against? Like as a manager, who was the player you like? Fucking hate playing against him.
Playing against?
Yeah.
Paul Stewart.
What was he like?
Wow, what a player. I mean, I was lucky enough to play against him when he played for Tottenham, and I thought he was at his very, very best, Tottenham, Liverpool. What a player, what a person, you know, incredible. But athlete, goal scoring ability, never stopped working, very humble, incredible.
Who's the best player you've coached?
Best player I've coached?
That was my next question.
It's got to be, you know, John Stones, because of his mentality, because he's sponge with respect to wanting to absorb, wanting to improve. You know, nothing would stand in his way of him becoming the best, but so confident in possession. And it was a real joy to work with. And there's him, like I said, you know, so many players who big influences, but John Stones, Ricardo Vaz for a small period of time that he was with me at Barnes, it was absolutely incredible.
Very unreal just to watch him training, though. You know, just like seeing him when he was at Bolton, he was just unreal.
It's no surprise to me that when Danny Drinkwater went to Leicester and he played alongside N'Golo Kante, that them two together, they won Leicester in the Premier League.
Yeah, they were good.
Now, I don't think people realise how good a player, you know, Danny Drinkwater was. He had an incredible footballing engine. So you had N'Golo Kante, and they say that 70% of the world's covered in water, the rest is covered by N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, that one. It's
Now,
class.
I believe that Danny Drinkwater was equally as fit. So them two in centre mid, playing in a 4-4-2 under Ranieri.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me because Danny Drinkwater was that good a football athlete, and but actual covering the balance of everything that you would expect to be a top pro, I would say it's got to be John Stones.
Who's your best signing you've ever made?
Best signing, Scott Hogan.
Wow. Where did you sign him at?
Signed him at Rochdale.
He at Rochdale, yeah.
We signed him at Rochdale from Hyde on a free.
All right.
Because he was out of contract, and we ended up selling him for a club record at the time, and then we got like percentages because he went from Brentford to Aston Villa.
I remember.
We got big money.
Brentford.
We got big money.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if you could pick a team you could manage now, who would you manage, and who would be your assistant manager?
Oh, the
You'd have to
assistant
say
manager. Let's see what I managed. If I could manage a team now.
If you manage now, who would be your assistant manager? Would you? Of anybody?
Manage a team. It would have to be Bolton, really.
Wow.
You know,
really
in the
good.
grand scheme of things, and I'm not saying I want the job, by the way, because he's doing a really good job. He's doing a really good job. Assistant manager, I would have to bring somebody in who's sort of modern day. I would have to think hard about that one, but I would 100% bring Tony McMahon with me. You know, Tony McMahon, unbelievable ex-Premier League football, played for Middlesbrough. Unbelievable footballing character. He should be in the game because the game needs characters like him. And he is one of the most trustworthy, honest people I've ever met in football. And football, trust me, is an industry now that's full of honest people.
So, before we wrap it up, all right, Keith, what's going to go on at Bolton this season? Where are we going to finish? What do you think?
They've got the capabilities in the squad and the management. It's all set up for promotion. Top two is difficult, there's no question about that. But they're more than capable. They don't lose a lot of games, which has been proven. They dominate possession, but again, for me, that can be almost like a smokescreen. I think when they play against teams that open up, for example, like Peterborough did to a certain degree last week, and Wigan at home, I think they're exceptional. You give Bolton's team space, they're brilliant.
You keep that burst off fit as
Deny them space, and it becomes a little bit more complicated. They rely heavily on slow play. But I think they've got the capabilities. They've certainly got a squad of players and a management team that can get them in the playoffs and hopefully top two.
It's good to see not playing five at the back, not having wing backs in there. It's good to get us getting the ball down in play. And what I like to see with Bolton is off the ball work. When we've not got the ball, where are you going? So everyone works hard off the ball and sits in their own half and plays football. But what I like, it's really good to see. And so he has actually brought his own little philosophy in there. The signings, what you think of the new signings? What you reckon he's done?
Really good. Burstow's absolutely superb. Simmons, Arahan, really good players. Cozy Dubray, I think Dolby's going to be a good player. Force, brilliant. I think listen, I really like the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
I think he's incredible. I believe he's had a little bit of stick, which for me is unwarranted because he does a lot of things brilliantly. His distribution is superb. He doesn't have to save too many shots. First and foremost, because Bolton defend really well as a team, they don't concede many goal-scoring opportunities. And the way that he holds his position in relation to where the defence is, he's the first one on the ball over the top. He's the first one when crosses come in if the defender can't head it to catch it and clear it or punch it.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of the basics absolutely superb, where he doesn't get to a point where he has to make an awful lot of saves.
He reminds me of James Trafford.
He's brilliant.
Trafford, he just when you watch him, you like
commanded the box.
Trafford,
He
will be as
does
good as
command the
Trafford.
box.
I think so.
I like Tolney. I think he's class.
He's always a good player.
I liked him when
good
he
leader of experience.
when he could get in, and then obviously he got injured and stuff. But I thought he was unreal.
I like this Richard Taylor. I want to see more of him. I want to see what he's about. He had a good season last couple of seasons, hasn't he? I want to see what he's about. Gives him a bit of game time, getting fit. And there's Dolby up front. I think he'll be a big target, like a Kevin Davies target man. And then everyone just needs to lay off McAtee and let him play and let him get his head into it and play.
He's going to find it difficult getting game time, though, isn't it? I just think I watched the game at the weekend. I looked at the amount of games that Max Conway's played. I looked at that game on Saturday and I watched from the stand co-commentating with Jack, and I thought he looked a little bit tired, but mentally tired as well. I don't know whether it's the time to maybe give him a little bit of a freshener, because he's a young player, played a lot of football, and the demand on him to play sustained, top draw football player he is.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I thought he looks a little bit mentally tired. Maybe Taylor can come in there, but I think it's a good backup, whichever way they look at it. But they've got a really good squad of players, and I think that they're going to have a very good season.
So we don't go up this season.
What do you reckon score Saturday against Burton?
I think they'll beat Burton. I've watched Burton play against Stockport. Gary Boy is a very, very close friend of mine. But
it's our bogey team, as well.
I do expect Bolton to go there. They're quite a young side. And again, I think they play with 3 at the back, 5 if you like. I think it's set up for Bolton, but if they play slow like they did away from home against Northampton, I think it could suit Burton. But I do believe that if they go quick out the guns, they put them under pressure, sustained pressure, then I believe they can win the game.
2 points from playoffs as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
we're in the mix.
Win that.
We're on our way there, aren't we? But brilliant.
No worries. Appreciate
so
that.
much
Thanks
for
a lot.
that,
Cheers.
so much.
Take care. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Keith, can I get a picture of you that top?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Top my Mills, give us my phone, pal. You've been such a good lad.